as an older woman, something that I try to do now for the younger women is encourage them. When I see them struggling in the grocery store with their kids, or I see them in a restaurant and worrying that, their kids are bothering others or whatever, I always try to reassure them. And I say, hey, your kids are not bothering me. I don't have any children anymore. My youngest kid is 21 years old, and I miss those little ones. And so they're not bothering me. This is fun for me to watch. I enjoy seeing them laugh and be, maybe a little rowdy and having fun, right? This doesn't bother me, and I encourage them. When I see them in the store and I know that they're struggling and they just have a couple more groceries to get and their kids are tired and hungry, I smile at them and I say, oh, he must be getting tired, it's always hard. I've been there. I know what it's like. You're trying to just get those last couple of things, and whatever it is, whatever the situation is, I try to encourage the young moms because I know what it feels like. And I know that you have those eyes on you and you're wondering what those other people without children are thinking, or even those people that have, older kids and they're not misbehaving in the grocery store, and you're wondering if they're looking at you thinking, get your kid under control. And so I always try to be gracious to those women and just let them know, hey, I've been there. I understand your kids are not bothering me and I'm not judging you, And so these are things that we can do as older women, older men to, encourage the younger women. I just know what it's like to be a younger woman, and so I can relate further to that. But I did also need a man to come in and take care of me when I didn't have my husband there, right? And do things for me. I also, with having a husband deployed, oftentimes I had a guy down the street that I could call and say, hey, my lawnmower's not working. Is there a chance you could come over and look at it real quick? And so be that guy, the one that helps the women when they need it, okay? That takes care of the orphans and the widows and the elderly. Whether you're young or old or somewhere in between, man or woman, be the one that helps those in need, right? You see a need and you step up. Just be that kind of person. That's what we can see from these people. Help the least of these, right? That's what Boaz is doing. He is helping the least of these. And in saying that, listen to what it says in Matthew 25:34-40. And so it says, there will come a day when Jesus will say, come, you who are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundations of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. Then the righteous will answer and say, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you as a stranger and welcome you, or naked and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and visit you? And the king will answer, truly I say to you, as you did it to one of the least of these, my brothers, you did it to me. And so these are the least of these, the people that are hungry, the people that are thirsty, the people that are strangers and need visiting, the people that have no clothes, the people that are sick and need visiting, the people that are in prison and need visiting. All of these people are in a situation where they need us. They might need someone who has something more than they have, more food, more clothes, more privilege in some way, and they need us. And so we can step up and do that. Young or old, man or woman, we can step and do those things. And then we can visit those. We can visit those that are sick. We can visit those that are in prison. We can visit those that are lonely. We can visit those that might be new in town, right? We can do all of these things. Take care of those that need our care. That's what he's saying. When you see a need, meet it. Do exactly what Boaz did, exactly what Ruth did, exactly what Naomi did, and step up when you see that someone needs you. Don't say, somebody else can do that. I'll let someone else do that. Oh, yes, I know that that is a need, but I've got my own things to worry about, kind of like we talked about last week, and I'm not going to mess with you. Don't be that person. If you see a need, meet it. And then trust that God will send somebody to meet your needs. Don't worry about yourself. And so now I'm going to read to you several verses that talk about specifically if you are an older woman, a younger woman, an older man, all of those things, okay? These are specific things that we can do if that is our position in life, okay? In 1 Timothy 5, 1 through 16, it says, do not rebuke an older man, but encourage him as you would a father. Young men, encourage them as if they were your brothers. Older women, as if they were your mother. Younger women, as sisters in all purity. He says in all purity because he's saying, not like you are attracted to them just as if they were your sister, which is kind of what I was saying about my husband looking for women in the airport to help. That's not because he's attracted to them. And I wouldn't ever say, to treat them in that way. And so that's what he's saying here. And then he says, honor widows who are truly widows. But if a widow has children or grandchildren, let them first learn to show godliness to their own household and to make a good return on their parents, for this is pleasing in the sight of God. Now, we're going to talk further about this in a moment, about taking care of your own family first so that other people don't have to take care of your family. So what he's saying here is that if there is a widow in your own family, you take care of them yourself. They took care of you. You're giving a good return to your parents and your grandparents by taking care of them. Don't leave them to the church. The church needs to take care of those who are truly widows, who have no other family members to take care of them. That's what he's trying to say here. And he says, she who is truly a widow, left all alone, has set her hope on God, and she continues in supplications and prayers night and day. So it says that she gives to the church, and the church gives to her because she doesn't have any family to pour into that they can in turn to pour into her. So the church is supposed to take care of them, and the widow is supposed to do things for the church if they don't have family. And then it says, but she who is self-indulgent is dead even while she lives. So he's like, but she doesn't need to be someone that is only taking care of herself. She needs to take care of the church and let the church take care of her needs and not, ask too much of them or do too little for them. Command these things as well so that they may be without reproach. But if anyone does not provide for his own relatives, especially members of his own household, then he has denied the faith and he's worse than an unbeliever. Let a widow be enrolled if she's less than 60 years of age, having been the wife of one husband and having a reputation of good works. If she has brought up her children, has shown hospitality, has washed the feet of the saints, has cared for the afflicted, and has devoted herself to every good work. So enrolled means registered with the church as a widow that needs care. If she does all of these things, then she is someone that you should take care of as a church. But refuse to enroll younger widows, for when their passions draw them away from Christ, they desire to marry, and so incur condemnation for having abandoned their former faith. Besides that, they learn to be idlers, going about from house to house, not only idlers, but gossips and busybodies, saying things that they should not. So, he says, don't take care of the younger women because they're active, they're busy, they don't need you to take care of them so that they don't have to take care of everybody else, because that's just going to give them idle time. And so he says, so I would have the young widows marry, bear children, and manage their households, and give the adversary no occasion for slander. Some have already strayed after Satan. And then it says in verse 16, if any believing woman has relatives who are widows, let her take care of them. Let the church not be burdened so that they can care for those who are truly widows. And so this is the exact scenario between Ruth and Naomi, right? Ruth is taking care of the widow that is in her family. That widow is not remarrying because she is older, so she's allowing someone else to take care of her. And since she does have a family member to take care of her, the church is not doing it. And then Ruth is looking to remarry and get a husband to take care of her and not making the church take care of her. And then specifically in Titus 2:2-8, it gives specific instructions to the older men and the older women. And so in verse 2, it says, older men are to be sober-minded, dignified, self-controlled, sound in faith, in love, and in steadfastness. And then if you skip down into verse 6, because it then skips to the older women, I want to stick with the older men. So it says, likewise, urge the younger men to be self-controlled, show yourself in all respects to be a model of good works, and in your teaching show integrity, dignity, and sound speech that can't be condemned, so that an opponent may be put to shame, having nothing evil to say about us. So this is what the older men are supposed to be like. They're supposed to show themselves in a specific way and then teach the younger men to be the same. And then the older women in verse 3, it says, likewise are to be reverent in behavior, not slanderers or slaves to much wine. They are to teach what is good and train the young women to love their husbands and children, to be self-controlled, pure, working at home, kind, and submissive to their own husbands, that the word of God may not be reviled. So specifically, this is the way that older men and women are supposed to teach the younger. And so in general, we can do these things. And then within our families, like it says in the 1 Timothy verse, we are supposed to take care of our families.